Welcome to this lesson on how we're going to be enhancing memory formation through effective encoding strategies. Now, memory is a complex cognitive process that plays a really crucial role in our daily lives, and it's something that we often take for granted as well. We often think we know that our memory might be bad, or we might think that we have a good memory, but we also kind of just think that the memory that we've got is the memory that we've got, and that's very wrong. And when we start to understand the underlying neuroscience, and we can actually go out and implement some targeted techniques to optimize that memory formation and retention. So let's take a look at it now, and let's have a little bit of a deeper look at encoding and the importance of encoding as well. So what is encoding? Well, this is the gateway to memory formation. So this is the process through which sensory information is transformed into a format that can be stored and retrieved later. So it's something as simple as you see a tree, your brain goes, tree, and it goes, tree over there, stored. That's a really simple explanation. Now, why are we doing it? So that we can retrieve that information later. Later, I'll be able to go, there's a tree over there. I remember from my memory. And efficient encoding, what it does is it actually lays a solid foundation for memory traces, for really robust memory traces. So what we wanted to look at is what are the things that we can do to enhance our encoding process to optimize our memory performance straight away, straight out of the gates. And the first thing that you should be doing is paying attention. This is really the key to memory engagement. And we know this, but it's getting harder to pay attention. Everybody's attention spans are dwindling. We're getting distracted more often. So we need to work harder on paying attention. And attention is a fundamental aspect of encoding. When we consciously direct our attention to the information that we want to remember, this is where we create a focused cognitive state that enhances memory formation. So it's like if you're watching this video and you're looking at it on the screen and you're engaging with the words that I'm saying, great. If you've got it on in the background and you're doing something else and it's just kind of floating off into the ether, it's not focused. You're not directing your attention to the information. So you're not doing anything to help yourself with that memory formation. So how can we improve our attentional abilities to optimize that encoding? Well, first of all, it starts out with your prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for attentional control. We need to activate the regions in that prefrontal cortex. And the way that we do that and the way that we help that attentional control is by minimizing distractions and practicing mindfulness, and also utilizing techniques like deep breathing and meditation. These are things that we can do to strengthen our attentional abilities and to engage fully with the information that we want to remember. So what are you doing to improve your attentional focus? Are you creating an environment that's conducive to concentration? Are you eliminating distractions? And are you practicing different techniques, mindfulness or deep breathing? Are you doing these things to help you with the encoding process? And if not, why not? And when can you fit them in? The second thing is making meaningful associations. And what this does is this creates memory links. Our brains thrive on connections and associations. We're creating this web, and by linking new information with existing knowledge, we create a web of associations that facilitate memory encoding and retrieval. And this is super interesting stuff. We investigate a lot of this with QEEG, and essentially what we find out is that our brains are a big hub and spoke model, essentially. Something might start here, but then it goes boom, it goes all out everywhere, all over the brain to create this web of associations that facilitate this memory encoding and this retrieval. So how can we leverage the power of associations to enhance our memory formation? Well, your hippocampus is a crucial brain region for memory. It plays a key role in forming these associations. So to maximize memory formation, we can do things like using mnemonic techniques like acronyms or visualization, and also creating mental images as well. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to connect new information with familiar concepts. And when we connect new information with familiar concepts, with those mnemonic techniques, those acronyms, those visualizations, those mental images, this is when we start to strengthen the neural connections, and that leads to more robust memory traces. So how can you create meaningful associations with the information that you want to remember? First of all, are you trying to create new associations with the information? Are you leveraging visual imagery? Are you leveraging mnemonic devices to enhance that memory encoding? What are you doing? And I remember being back at uni, and something that we were taught as well when it was around remembering information was, and I'm not sure, I haven't actually done any research on this, so I'll preface it with this. I know that the science is right, but I'm just not sure about the percentages that I'm about to say. So they used to tell us that if you listen to something, you're going to retain about 5% of that. If you write it down, you're going to retain around about 30% of that. If you speak it out loud, that bumps up to around about 60 or 70%. And then if you teach somebody something, you're getting around about that 80 to 90% as well. Now, remember, I'm not too sure on those percentages, but this is those things of, well, what can we do to help us to encode this? And when we go out and we start to make these connections and we want to leverage different devices to make this memory encoding easier, these are different things that we can be doing as well. We can be listening, or we can be writing stuff down, or we can be talking about it to other people, and we can be trying to teach somebody. Because when we do that, that forces us to make associations with things. It forces us to think a little bit more critically about the information, which assists this association, and it helps to create those robust memory traces as well. And that really ties into the third thing, which is elaboration and deep processing, which is going beyond the surface as well. And when we encode information at a deeper level, that's when it promotes more robust memory formation. That's really what we want. So when we engage in elaborative processes, this is where we create richer and more complex memory representations. Because remember, memory, think about that for a second. It creates richer and more complex memory representations. Because what are we doing when we remember something? We're reconstructing that experience. So how can we deepen our processing to optimize memory encoding? Well, we ran through a couple, writing things out, teaching somebody it as well, writing it down, talking it out loud. But you can also ask yourself probing questions, get a little bit more introspective. Ask yourself these probing questions about the material. That really encourages you to think critically, and it encourages you to analyze the situations. So throughout our videos, we'll ask you questions throughout the process. And that's what we're trying to get you to do. I don't want these questions that we ask you just for you to let them be part of the video. We're doing it so that we can trigger that critical thinking and that analysis, that introspective thinking. And so that you can summarize the information in your own world and bring it in to your own world as well. And when we can do that, and when we can talk to people about it, this is where we can hopefully teach somebody, and this is going to enhance that encoding, because that requires a deeper understanding. And with people in our community as well, if people are coming up to something where they need they need that memory there. So this might be in a professional setting where we're going into a presentation and we need to know we need to know our facts and our figures. We need to know everything. Or you might be a student and you might be studying for an exam. I always tell people, when you're unsure of something or it's not feeling right, come and try and explain it to somebody else. Come and try and explain it to me, or explain it to somebody else, because that's going to force you to work through this on a deeper level. And that's going to help you to understand it on a deeper level, because connecting that information in a way that needs to make sense to somebody else makes you look at it in a way that makes sense to you. And we can do that by also connecting this information to personal experience or emotions, because this can create a stronger and a more meaningful memory trace. So it's about those retrieval cues. It's about those things that we can do to lay the foundation to be able to recall the information, reconstruct the information later. So ask yourself, how can you incorporate elaboration and deep processing into your learning? Do you ask yourself questions that prompt critical thinking? Are you connecting the information to your personal experiences? Are you teaching these things? Are you talking about these things? Because when we get it right, not only do we improve our memory formation, but we also get better at learning, we get better at education, we get better at information retention as well, and we get better at personal development and professional growth, because it actually boosts our self-confidence and our productivity and our mental agility as well. So take some time to understand the neuroscience behind memory encoding and how you can implement targeted techniques. When we get that right, this is where we can optimize our memory performance and really revolutionize your ability to remember, because what is remembering? Reconstructing past events in our mind as well. So remember, pay attention, create those meaningful associations, and engage in deep processing to unlock the full potential of your memory. That's all for now. Bye now.